All right, today's day 2. I didn't tape much yesterday, only a tiny little bit. And so now I'm taping off the trim, and man, this one, there's a big paint bubble here, which is really disappointing, and then there's a scratch here of some sort. And then there's polish flicked all over the place, all over the plastic. So what I'm nervous about, I need to get a depth gauge. I don't have one, but I wonder, some sort of bug or something down there. I wonder how much paint they removed. The dealership didn't do it. I talked to them about it. But you can see some of the rotary just grinding this sucker down. So that's usually something that would be done at port. So, and this alcohol isn't going to take off this polish, but this little piece of trim here, it's got polish all over it. So getting this off is usually tricky. I'm probably going to end up having to replace this piece. I'm thinking about doing these in gloss black anyway. Oh yeah, I got it all over the place. Looks like most of this is coming off this fling that they got all over here. You know, as a detailer, you almost want them to just leave the darn thing alone and not touch it. You certainly want them to just leave it alone. Stop sanding on crap and polishing, because all they do is mess it up. So anyway, I was thinking about making a Tesla video today. Instead, I'm going to make a video on taping. Oh man, that's a joke. The day I start making videos about a car that is launched 5 years from now, just because everybody else is making a video about a car that will be launched 5 years from now, is the day I've jumped the shark. You guys can call me out on that when that day comes. Looks like I got most of it off of here. I'm gonna go get a piece of microfiber, and this is why you tape. Because if you get polish on stuff like this, it's darn near impossible to get off. Like, it's not coming out of here, but luckily on the mirror here, it's largely little flecks that are sitting on the surface that aren't embedded. Gee whiz, they shot it all the way down the side of the car. Looks like I got most of it. Jeez, man. This will always head back toward white. I might try a little solution finish on it to see if that penetrates the polish that's embedded in this. I might just replace it. What a mess. Good news, after rubbing on it so much, at least this tape will stick better. So this is Kamikaze's tape, their masking tape, which is really great. It conforms so much easier than the Scotch 233 Plus, or maybe some other tapes. So I use this as much as I can. Now it is rather costly. I usually just kind of tuck it in there. But it doesn't leave a residue. I guess neither does 233 Plus, so that's not the big selling point. It's unless you've used it, it's a little hard to explain. It's really thin and extremely pliable, which makes it great for masking. Like to carry this turn with most other tapes, it just won't do it. I'm just gonna tuck it in there. I'm sure some of the quote pros that think that they're better than me will give me their opinion on how this works. It's such an interesting dynamic of this weird spot that I'm in this world of washing my car in my own garage and then sharing videos of the process. For whatever reason, there's a contingent of people that wash cars for a living that don't like me doing this. Making videos of me washing my own car in my own garage, I guess, is not cool to do. Such a weird vibe that I get. But guess what? I'm gonna keep doing it because I like it. So taping in general, again, notice how I've said this a bunch. I don't like propose that this is the way to do it. This is just the way I do it. And I don't think tape, like there isn't like a perfect way to do it. You just kind of do it, slop it on there, and you can't, I don't think you can tape too much. Like, it wouldn't hurt you to tape more, right? So if I tape off too much, it's not gonna, the only thing it's gonna do is waste tape. It's not gonna cause any problems. But if I don't tape enough, then I end up with issues like that spot there, where now I basically have a ruined piece of plastic because there's polish all in it. And generally I found that like wolves will penetrate and cover most of it, but it'll turn white quicker than a good clean piece of trim. So I think it's important. I mean, some have said you can use something like peanut butter or something like that to help penetrate it, break it down, but usually the only thing that works, and we're going to put some solution finish on it, which is a specific plastic. It's specifically designed for penetrating plastic and caring for it, treating it. So I might try some of that on there. We'll see how it goes. But generally, just put some tape on any plastic areas, any areas you think you might fling some polish, or come up to, like I'm going to come up to the edge on the mirror here, and I want to avoid getting polish on my plastic. And this goes back to me joking a little bit about this bad rap that I've kind of gotten in the world of detailing, because this outsider goofball in his garage is, I don't know, people are listening to what I'm saying, and so then guys, and I get it, you've been doing it a long time, you kind of be like, well, why is anybody listening to me? Why is anybody listening to this guy? He doesn't even know what he's talking about. But I would argue this isn't all that complicated. Certainly there's technique and there's some learned things along the way, but I'm going to tape, I'm going to get a polisher, and you touch the polisher to the paint and it fixes it. And there's certainly better techniques than others, but in general, this isn't like surgery. Hey, freaking polish everywhere, man. So I'm going to tape up all of this rubber trim. These, I'm disappointed that we have shadow line trim here. It only locks on this side, which is weird. I need to mess with the lock settings, I guess. But yeah, the shadow line trim will usually correct right up with a single step with some Sonex Perfect Finish. I think I may have this corrected, and I may put some paint protection film on this just to lock it in, keep it from getting scratched up. Once every couple of months I'll have to correct this out, and then you'll have to replace it because this stuff gets so beat up. It's such an odd place to be, where I am in this world of detailing. You know, and I've said this a bunch, detailing is not even my focus. I know I make lots of videos of it, largely because it's one of the most time-consuming things I do in the garage, but you know, this is just one aspect of what interests me. Most of my obsession is anchored in the garage, and so again, detailing is just, you know, it's a major time commitment, you know, and I've had to, in making videos, just, you know, it made sense to share the detailing process most, and you know, it's one of the things I enjoy the most, and you know, I like to do things professional grade. And so, again, I don't really have any aspirations to be, I don't have any aspirations to be a professional detailer. Could I? Yeah, sure, why not? You know, are there people following what I'm saying? And yeah, it's largely because we believe the same thing. But it's just such an odd place to be. But how cool is it that, you know, I just got off the phone, so I came out here early, started taping off. I taped off the other side of the truck. It's like 9 o'clock now, or 9:30, it's 10 o'clock now. And you know, I just got off the phone with the guy working on, it was the first call in wealth management. You know, this is Thanksgiving week, and I decided this week I didn't have any major appointments outside of phone calls. And so I decided I was going to come out and correct the Raptor this week and just do it, you know, one step at a time, kind of do it as I saw fit. But how cool is it that I get to come out here in the garage, do what I like doing, then I get to work, if you will. I'm going to go record a podcast at 1 o'clock with Sean, and it's going to connect me with more people. It's so humbling. It's so awesome. So it's weird. It's like, I feel like I won over a lot of the general, either that or I blocked enough people to where a lot of the negative comments disappeared. But now there's this weird negativity with jobber detailers. Yeah, because the big time pros, they're not threatened by some dude in their garage. In fact, I like to think I'm sending more people to the detailing profession than not. Or sending more people to, not the profession, but to hire professionals. Because when you see this whole process, you're like, screw that, I'm not doing this. So much work. I got better things to do with my life than to spend, 20 hours correcting. Not to mention all the hours it's going to take you to figure out how to do all this. But I'm sure these comments will send people into more of a tizzy. I don't really like, shoot. I'm not a big fan of people not liking me, but not much I can do about it. Tape's not sticking. Figures. Grab some more tape. I've said this before, but it's so odd that I feel such a sense of accomplishment when I use a roll of tape or finish a bottle of polish. I shouldn't have that attitude. I'd be interested to see. I haven't even gotten any lights out to look at the paint, but I think I'm probably going to be able to one-step this and be done with it. I find that blues like this tend to be easier to deal with anyway. It's almost a dark color, but not quite. So I should have wiped it down. I just didn't want to erase or wipe it down last night because I knew the car would be sitting and bugs and dust and dirt and stuff will accumulate. So I'm going to wipe the car down with eraser today. So I didn't want to do it last night to look at the paint and see where we're at. This is going to be harder to shoot. How am I going to deal with that? Just put a piece in here. There's plastic trim right on the door handle here. I really don't want to see polish on every time I walk up to the door. And this is the same porous plastic that's all over the truck. So yeah, as I was saying, I decided against making a video. I think what happens is, I think especially younger YouTubers, they're like, oh my gosh, somebody else is making a video about something, I need to make a video about it, instead of just doing their own thing. It's just a weird, so I see it, I open up YouTube in the morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the same freaking video, everybody's making the same darn thing, and then you watch a couple of them. It's not like they were there at the event or anything, it's just, oh my gosh, we need to talk about it because everybody else is talking about it. If I don't talk about it, then I'm going to miss out on something. It's just this weird thing that is going on in the world. I mean, I guess that's the way news has always been, though, so maybe I'm just such a rebel. It's also probably a little different for me because I'm not relying on views. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's great. More power to these guys, these young guys that can quit their job and make 20, 30, 40, 50,000 bucks a month doing what they love doing, which is making videos. But what happens is then you end up with a bunch of nonsense that it's not even worth watching. A bunch of people talking about something they don't know anything about. Gotta take the key out of my pocket. But I guess that's what detailers that come and watch this stuff think the same thing. That's gonna turn freaking white, so I gotta figure out how to tape this piece here. This is especially where this tape becomes useful. Jeez. Because it's so pliable, I can cover up little
intricate areas like this. Just kind of work it around. And just tuck it in there. Just to help avoid ending up with a little white polish covered square here on the door handle. All right, so I think we're good. So now we can start working on a test spot. We're getting our lights out. Oh, I need to tape up the hood. So I'm gonna go tape up the hood area. Let's see, I got all the trim ready. All of this done. The tail of the car is done, so let me just walk you around and show you, what I've taped off. So I did the trim, oops. I did the door handles, the inside part of the door handles. These here I'm gonna paint, these fender flares. So I'm gonna make sure that I don't coat those. We taped off the bed, taped off the Raptor logo thing here. I'm torn on whether I should have done, oh, you know what I need to do? I'm gonna tape off the little lights here. I'm not gonna tape off the lights because they'll probably need to be polished. Other side here, so I'm gonna do the door handles, and then I'll come around and do I gotta do the headlights, and I'll do the little plastic piece up here. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.